Okay, all right. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. It's Tuesday. We're gonna prep some Pathfinder. We're gonna prep some Seven Dooms for Sandpoint, but also some Burnt Offerings. No VTuber tonight because apparently, right as I wanted to run VTube Studio, Steam was like, I have a huge update I need to run, but now it's like stuck on those updates, and I'm tired of waiting around for it. And then I don't really have a camera, so I guess I gotta just use my camera. I don't know. I'm tired. Anyways, let's jump into it. We left off where the party had entered the dungeon through a side passageway. And then they left off in a fight against Aurelium, the first, tough boss monster they faced way back in the dungeon beneath Sandpoint. So, what we're going to do with that is tonight they are in Area D12 of Thistletop Dungeon Level 1, and they left off in a battle against that unfinished business they had from earlier in the adventure. So, the unfinished business from earlier in the adventure, she has 2 Yeth Hounds. Alright. Now, I feel like, even though it says this is a severe encounter, I do feel like they've got a chance here. I do feel like they got a chance here. Not a, like, I don't think they're gonna get like TP catering. But like, generally, if they can deal damage quickly, they're okay. And if they can't deal damage quickly, then things start to go downhill. So Aurelium would know this. She's got, she doesn't have a lot of tricks up her sleeve. If we look, spell-wise, I think she tried to cast Fear last session, and it didn't work. And then that's like her only big spell. And then everything else here is just, I throw a dagger at you and stay out of melee reach. So, they've had this fight before. They have bolas now. They're very excited about using the bolas on her. Hopefully they can land one of those bola attacks and get to enjoy the benefits of that. Let's see. In 12, the Chapel to Lamashtu. I set the ceiling at 20 feet in here. The adventure just says that there's a 10-foot high statue. I'm assuming that it's got like a cathedral ceiling that peaks at 20 feet. So that's what I'm running with. Now, is there anyone else that would come and join this fight? Probably not. Looking around, Lyri Akenya is back here, and she is with her cat, and she is studying, and the doors are locked, and she's doing her own thing, I guess. Would this door be locked if she's in there studying? I don't know. I generally lock all the doors in a dungeon so that, if they're supposed to be locked, I haven't forgotten to lock them. Let's see. A large work table rests in the middle of this room. It doesn't say that it's locked. Alright, so we'll unlock this one. And then we can unlock these doors, I guess. Goblin Art Gallery. Yeah, it's unlikely they'd lock those doors. And then doors up to the surface. Alright, so that says up to A, and that says up to B, and those are stairs down. Now, in order for Seven Dooms for Sandpoint to make sense, you gotta have a fight against Rip Nugget. But if Rip Nugget is upstairs, they're not gonna have a fight against him, right? So we got to get Rip Nugget downstairs in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? We got to get him downstairs in a hurry. So let me unlock the rest of these doors. There we go. And then I'm going to do a key item. So we're going to go here, type in key. I'm going to duplicate this key. All right. And we're going to call key thistle top ruins. There we go. And then I'm going to give this key to her. I'm going to give this key to him. We'll give it to this hideous bugbear. And then we do need Mr. Rip Nugget to get down here. So Chief Rip Nugget. Alright. And then what is his mount's name? Like Padfoot or something? Stickfoot? Stickfoot. There we go. Alright. So Stickfoot's only medium. So like these two homies could come down here and cause some trouble. Alright. So we got lots of people who have keys, which is good. Would Aurelium have a key? I don't know. I don't know how many copies of keys they're making in this fucking place. But that seems like enough people have keys. I don't think Aurelium would have keys. Okay. So Auric, already having second thoughts. He doesn't want to be a part of any of this. So, yeah. Let's see. This dude just fucking goblins. So he will definitely join the fray if it is required. He's in area 2. This is, again, we're just trying to adapt the adventure to, you know, what's going on, what's needed, sort of thing. So, alright. Chieftain's harem. Dozens of ratty cushions, lumpy pillows, and rumpled dog-skin furs lie heaped in the south half of this chamber, which smells of a nauseating mixture of vinegar and rotten flowers. The stink in the air is, horrifyingly enough, perfume worn by the 4 goblin women who lounge in the chamber. These are Rip Nugget's wives, although he hasn't had time to visit them in weeks. Starved for attention, the goblins have taken to one of Nualia's allies with an obscene and disturbing glee. This is Bruthasmus, the bugbear. Unless he suspects intruders have reached this level, he's 80% likely to be encountered here. Otherwise, he's in his lair in D4D, down here. All right, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll roll a D. I'll roll a D, Hundy. Holy shit! All right, so he is not fucking goblins. He is in his room over here. That is very lucky for them. All right, so if he's over here, he's probably sleeping off the goblin orgies. For many years, Bruthasmus lived a lonely life as a trapper. The day he met Nualia, he thought the exact woman was some sort of nature spirit. He tried to catch her and sell her to the pirates of Riddle Point, but she handily defeated him without taking the wound herself. So when she offered him a job as her bodyguard, he took it. All right. So he's a tough guy, but he's off doing his own things. Okay. Then we got the Goblin Nursery. Then we got Suto's Chambers. This room is clean and well organized. A low dresser in the southeast has a stack of papers in it. If Suto escaped from death, which he did, there's a 30% chance he's here. Otherwise, he's in D15. Oh, where the fuck is D15? Oh, D15's over here. Okay. So let's go ahead and roll that D100. Oh, I rolled a 98 2 times in a row. That's crazy. Okay. That is kind of crazy. Wow. All right. Suto's Chambers. 30% chance he's here. Otherwise, he's encountered at area D15. If he's here, the half elf does everything in his power to escape to D15. Okay. All right. Oryx Chambers. This is the home of Auric, a down in his luck mercenary. All right. Auric bears no regrets. Blah blah blah. His whole fucking backstory. Blah blah blah. Auric is ruggedly handsome. Blah blah blah. All right. Development. Auric surrenders. Oh, bro. Like, does he even put up a fight? Doesn't look like it. So is he always in here? This is the current. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, apparently he's just in here feeling sorry for himself. Just feeling sorry for himself. All right. Lyrie's chambers. While this bedroom is clean and brightly lit, an ever-burning torch lying on the nightstand, the room's Spartan decor makes it unclear if it's actually lived in. Larry spends most of her time researching the Tentamort in Area D7 or studying the various artifacts and relics recovered from the dungeon below. She's only encountered here during the night as she sleeps. Okay, well, I definitely didn't have her in D7, so I'm going to have her be in D15. All right. Nualia's chambers. This large chamber serves a double purpose. Although she's not supposed to spend time here, she has a fine bed. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Workroom doesn't have anything in it. Tentamort hunting grounds. We replace the Tentamort with a gibbering mouther, which they have already handily dealt with. The prison. If the goblins have captured any prisoners during the adventure, they are here. Since their jailer and torturer Bronkel went missing during the raid on Sandpoint, this area has been neglected by the goblins, who often forget to come down and check on their prisoners for several days anyways, leaving prisoners to ration their already meager food and water. Each of the iron doors can be broken with a DC 26 strength check, or the locks picked with a DC 25 open lock check. Keys for the cells can be found in area D10, which is Bronkel's lair. All right, so we're going to do another key. We're going to duplicate this one. It's going to be Thistle top dungeon cells. There we go. And then I think I don't think you can just drag it out onto the scene. Nah. I could as a reminder that there are keys in there, but if I really wanted it to work, I would have to make an actor to hold the loot. It's a whole fucking thing. To create actor, loot, D10, keys. There we go. Alright, then we go here, then we grab Thistletop Dungeon Cells. And then we go back over here, and we drop this shit right there. Okay. Let's see. Scattered amongst torture implements in the southern workbench. Alright. I don't think torture instruments are a thing in the game. We could do healer's kit. Huh. Wonder why it's the quick insert's loading so slow. Jesus. Alright, let's see. Bestiary browser? No. Go over here. Dependium browser? There we go. Yeah, everything's running slow. Alright, well, keep trying your best, Foundry. Keep trying your best. Let's see. These two stone doors are well maintained. Chapel to Lamashtu. Alright. Every day that Nualia leads a service here, she prepares a desecrate spell instead of Bull's strength and casts it at the start of her sermon. That's fun. I also want to throw a random townsperson in the cells just to keep it a little interesting. So we're gonna do a skeleton who just didn't make it. Maybe they'll appear. Let's see. I think my Foundry's just dead in the water. I'm like mid-load of... Alright. I'm gonna just do a refresh. Oh man, Steam crashed too. Wow. Alright. So I guess that's why I didn't run the updates. If I didn't know any better, I would say our Foundry world is down, which is really unfortunate. Alright, well, I'll continue to read through and just take notes that I will do manually, I guess. Okay, let's see. Goblin Art Gallery, War Room. Doesn't say anybody's hanging out in there. Research Room. Although all 5 of the bandits have spent time in this room, only Lyrie, Akenja, and Nualia have the obsessive interest in these rooms to spend much time here. Nualia hired Lyrie primarily for her knowledge. Okay. It do sound like this is where Lyrie is supposed to be. If Suto escaped from the PCs earlier and the alarm is raised, he's encountered here again. He and Lyrie have pushed the table up against the eastern door, making a DC 22 strength check to push the door open. If Ruthasmus escaped the PCs as well, he too is waiting here, hoping to hold them off from reaching the lower level. Alright, and we've established that the human guy has just given up all hope. Okay. So we gotta, when this pops back up, we gotta move Suto to D15. Alright. We also gotta figure out a good place to drop Rip Nugget on them. I feel like there's enough noise going on with the dog's howl, like the Yeth Hound howl. Where is it? Because the PF2E version of a Yeth Hound has a howl that can be heard up to 300 feet away. Let's see. When an evil cult engages the services of Yethhound, the process is more like forging alliance with animal than animal training. Yethhound allies can provide much more complicated services than a typical animal, but they also present the risk of possible treachery. So they have Bay, which is audible up to 300 feet away. So I do feel like this is going to mobilize the goblins up top. It's also going to tip off everybody that's down below. So we'll need to take that into account while we're doing this. Let's see. I guess I'll just do all of my prep outside of Foundry since everything's shit in the bed. I mean, it is what it is. So let's see. Okay. that means that it's unlikely tonight that they're going to make it to the next floor because they have to burn through essentially two mid bosses, three mid bosses, back to back to back, like just endless boss rush situation. And I just don't see that shit happening for them because they have too many loose ends from before. And then that third boss, mid boss, is going to be Suto backed up by Lyri, and that's going to be a pretty tough. That's going to be a pretty tough fight. Then if they go lower, they get down into like the final floor of the final part of the dungeon, which is designed in a very interesting way because there's these really cool like side rooms that they could go into, but there's no like indication of like will they have time to do that? Because E3, I think, is it E3, E4, E2, E1, E2. I don't even see E3 on here. I see E5. E3 is the trapped hall, which, oh, okay. The 5 and 3 look the same. All right. So then a wide stone ledge of red marble lines the curving walls of this room, which is well lit by 4 burning skulls that sit in each corner. 3 chairs rest in the room. Both stone ledges are covered in books. Blah, blah, blah. Bubbling font. The burning skulls all bear continual flames. The objects on the shelves are various holy texts, scrolls, relics, and objects sacred to the worship of Lamashtu, identifiable as such. The primary villain of this adventure is likely encountered here. See, like, that's crazy to me. Like, why is the BBEG of the whole adventure, like, just chilling in this side room? You know what I'm saying? It's very strange. So, but it says she's here. Her recent success with the ritual to offer her foster father's corporeal remains to Lamashtu, a sacrifice more symbolic than anything else, saw her rewarded with the promise of things to come. Her left hand has been transformed into a demonic red talon. With the exception of her demonic hand and her scarred belly, the rest of her body is incongruously beautiful. Yet in her madness, Nualia has come to view her silver hair, violet eyes, and shapely figure as a curse, a scar visited upon her by her angelic heritage. She wants to shed this part of her to become fully monstrous to better serve her new mistress. She wears the mark of her devotion to Lamashtu proudly, keeping her midriff bare to expose the ugly scars and wounds across her belly. The transformation of her hand into a talon is not the only reward Lamashtu has sent Nualia. A third Yeth Hound is her constant companion, loyal and eager to please. Alright, so I mean, there it is. I guess if you kill her, then that's that. Like, that's the fucking end. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, okay. So then you beat her and you're like, guess I'll go home? Question mark. But there is more to do. The southern wing of this L-shaped hallway ends in a pair of stone doors, carved with a depiction of 2 skeletons reaching out to clutch a skull between them, while the rest of the east hallway narrows down to a frame of circular carving. To frame a circular carving of what seems to be an immense stack of gold coins that rises from floor to ceiling. The edges of the coins are carved with tiny, spiky runes. 4 pillars support the dome ceiling of this room. Several alcoves contain standing sarcophaguses that grace the walls, and a statue of a stern man wielding a glaive, holding a book, stands at the far end of the chamber. The small crypt was used to inter bodies of the complex's architects, as was the tradition in Karzug's time. The architects in this case were interred alive, but now only bones remain. There's a secret door. Shadows, which are insanely tough monsters for low-level Pathfinder people. Collapsed treasury, giant hermit crab, which is also a tough-ass monster for them to be facing. They got the amulet, which we already talked about. Some treasure. Communication room. This room once allowed agents stationed here to communicate with the projected image of Karzug. When the statue collapsed, the magic here was damaged, and now a short loop of Karzug's last message plays endlessly. Over the ages, the illusion has slowly faded, so that all that remains is this ghostly echo. The spoken words are in Thessalonian and repeat the following short message over and over again. Is upon us, but I command you remain. Witness my power, how Alasnist petty wrath is but a flash compared to my strength. Take my final work to your graves, and let its memory be the last thing you... The image is harmless, and it's level 17 caster effect. Transmutation room. This room contains 3 low tables, their tops covered in strange and chilling selection of tools, saws, long-bladed knives, objects whose purposes are not readily apparent. The working of transmutation magic went beyond the classic transformation of lead into gold for the wizards of Shalast. They worked the magic of change upon every matrix they could shape. This room was used to change and modify living flesh, blah, blah, blah. Alright, Malfeshnakor's prison. The doors to this room are made of stone but bear no handles. An indented outline of a 7-pointed star, its shape covered by hollows and slits, graces the spot where handles should be. This room is lit by a 10-foot wide pit of flickering fire, blah, blah, blah. What is the motivation here to kill Malfeshkanor? I honestly don't know. Okay. In burnt offerings, it feels strange to encounter the BBEG Nualia 3 rooms into the final floor of the dungeon, comma, and then be left with the rest of the dungeon to explore, comma, but with little to no motivation to do so. What clues or motivations exist for the PCs to feel compelled to find and destroy Malfeshkanor? Yeah, I mean, and of course, Malfeshkanor has no choice but to fight to the death. Alright, Burn Offering front loads its climax with Nualia, which can leave the post-boss crawl feeling like a limp cooldown. But Malfeshkanor is supposed to be a dangerous loose end. The problem is the module doesn't effectively motivate the players to care about him, unless the GM does extra work. Here's what the module does give you, and what you can do to fix or emphasize it. Suto's journal. Suto's notes mention a greater power sealed away below that Nualia is desperate to unleash. PCs who examine the notes carefully might learn that this creature is tied to Thessalonian ruins, but Suto never names Malfeshkanor. No flavor, no urgency. Nualia's notes. If she's captured or her notes are found, GMs can include a reference to the key to my future empire roars in the dark, sealed but stirring. She was working to release him, so killing her before she succeeds implies that he's still down there. Thistletop's architecture. The low level shows signs of much older, more ominous construction. If the players realize the dungeon's foundations predate the goblins and Nualia, that mystery might compel deeper exploration. Unlikely. Wraith plus howling sounds. There are environmental clues, windy tunnels, strange growls that suggest a threat still lurks. These are meant to make Malfeshkanor feel like a looming presence, but they're easy to miss or ignore. Fixes to strengthen motivation. Give Nualia a key, but not the time. Have the PCs arrive just before she could finish the final ritual to unlock Malfeshkanor's prison. Let them find half-finished runes, blah, blah, blah. Let her beg for release. If she's dying or captured, Nualio might warn, I failed, but he's still there. He'll never forgive me. Or, I couldn't release him. Maybe that's why I lost. Maybe he let me fail. This sets up Malfeshkanor as more than a monster, a vengeful presence, and potential manipulator. Have his influence leak into the dungeon. Let nearby goblins have gone mad from hearing whispers in the walls. Maybe Aurelium or Bruthasmus speaks of a howling thing they fear even more than Nualia. Let Mephistonor's name be spoken in fear, not reverence. There's a thing beneath, not a god, not a demon, something that hates gods and demons both. You can connect it to the Red Bishop. If you're running 7 Dooms and or introducing the Red Bishop, then Malfeshkanor becomes the first Doom or an early failed candidate. You think Nualia lives attack? No, he promised her power. She was just a candle. But what slithered behind her, that was something else. Let the Red Bishop's manipulations be traceable here. Symbols on the walls, moth carcasses, a message written in charred blood. Okay, I do kind of like bloody moth symbol. I like that. That's pretty cool. On dungeon wall. Alright. In short, module plants the seed. Okay. So obviously here at the end, we're gonna do finale. Okay. So in the finale, we're gonna say Nualia's room is empty. She is further in. She's actually in 8E9. Yeah, let's see what E9 is up to. E9 transmutation room. Nice. Okay. So, all right, it's further in. Yeah. E9. She is preparing Shayless as a living sacrifice to Malfeshkanor. Believing this is what will free him and bring her fully into Lamash's favor. There we go. Okay. Hints of what is happening. All right. Okay. Lyri and Suto let slip. We must hold the line. Nualia's work is nearly complete. With the sacrifice of the girl, he will be freed, and the goddess's blessing will be upon us. Nice. Okay. So then that brings us over to other evidence. Okay. Rip Nugget shouts during battle. You were fools to come here. This place holds power beyond your understanding. The hunting ghost the wolf, demon lord. He slumbers no more, and soon Uwalia will set him free. Nice. That ugly redhead human will be his first conquest. Alright. And then, prisoner, they free in cells on D level. There was a girl they brought in recently. Shayless? What's her name? Once she was here, they forgot all about me. Exclamation mark. I think they took her down below. When? I'm not sure. It's hard to keep time in the dark. Alright, and then notes in E4. Describing theories about how to free Malbash some are crossed out, having been tried and failed, including but not limited to Death Orgy, Infant Sacrifice, Death Porgy, nice. Infant Sacrifice, and other such occult rituals. Evil occult rituals. Okay. Alright, I like that quite a bit. How do we explain Nualia getting past the gold coin pile puzzle? Let's be real. Puzzles suck. Let's see. She figured out a way through. Let's see. Because normally you got to put shit in like the eyes or something. The pillar itself is a permanent image made to look as if it was made of gold, but it's actually made of stone. Coin slot, the fact that there's a hollow space in the pillar, inserting at least one gold causes the pillar to grind noisily. Yeah, I mean, it's literally a vending machine. Yeah, this isn't the puzzle where you gotta put the eyes in the skull. The architect on this. Okay. So that's all just side shit that you could go and get treasure, but it's not required. Okay. So then, let's see. Did we ever load up? We did not. We're dead in the water. All right. I'll see if it'll boot up on its own. All right. Okay. So we'll do changes to the finale. Okay. And then we'll put defeating Nualia in this new area does not trigger the fight with Malbash. Malfesh-Nor, however, it is obvious the wards binding him have grown weak. From Nualia's continued efforts. In fact, in time, he will be able to escape this place. That sort of sets the PCs up with a chance to do one more boss fight after healing up, or let it go, and then we have him escape and ruin their lives during the 17-year time skip. I think that's a good way to handle it. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just dead. It's not great. All right. Config. Stop. And start. All right, and we'll try to load it again. All right, so while that's loading, we're going to keep checking out the adventure. Okay. All right, so what do you think of these changes? All right. So then they kind of have optional content with the giant hermit crab and the other guy. They don't have to fight him, but they could. Malfesh-Nor is pretty fucking strong for them to try to face at the end there. These changes are excellent, of course. Why wouldn't they be? Yeah, they massively improve the pacing, tension, and narrative cohesion of the Burn Offerings finale, and they tie beautifully into Dungeon's Breakpoint. Here's a breakpoint of what's going on. Delaying Nualia, building suspense. Moving Nualia deeper into the dungeon makes her the true climax, not just a speed bump on the way to the finale. Gives the players time to feel that something bigger is coming. Ritual Sacrifice of Shayless equals emotional anchor. Brilliant move. Shayless is introduced early and has personal ties to the PCs, especially in Seven Dooms, where she becomes a recurring character. Making her sacrifice adds urgency and stakes to the dungeon crawl. Multiple clue trails. Suto, Lyrie, Rip Nugget, and the Prisoner each drop clues that layer tension. This is classic adventure design. Each hint builds dread and mystery towards a horrifying ritual climax. Research notes as flavor and foreshadowing. The occult notes in E4 are perfect. Faded rituals like Infant Sacrifice and Death Orgy give a sense of how deranged and desperate Nualia has become. Bonus, the players copy these notes down. They're a great artifact to consult later for Red Bishop foreshadowing or Rune Lord lore. Malfesh-Nor as Sealed Doom. Making his prison weakened but not automatically triggered gives players a clean choose-your-own climax moment. Giving the party a clear choice with the real consequences. Finish the job now or walk away and face long-term repercussions. Suggestions and small tweaks. The gold puzzle, you're fixed, and all I figured it out. Simple and fair, you might enhance it slightly, add a scorch marked or slightly rearranged coin pattern, evidence that Nualia solved the puzzle but had to brute force it using trial and error or some dark insight. Maybe a side note, pain guides the faithful, bleed upon the gold, and the path will be clear. Okay, let's see. Creepy touch of horror. Oh wait. Shayless's role. You could increase her agency, even just a bit, depending on how the PCs know her. Maybe she's being brainwashed into thinking she's meant for this, or maybe she tried to resist Nualia, mutilated her, or drugged her. Narratively, you could do, she turns to you with blood-matted hair and a dazed look, her wrists are bound, but her lips move in a whisper. The wolf sleeps, but not for long. This adds a creepy touch of horror, even if they rescue her. If they leave Malfeshkanor, the ward pulses like a heartbeat for now, and every second it skips. Later, when the Seven Dooms begin, Malfeshkanor's return can be the first real shock that Sandpoint isn't safe. Let Nualia know that she was a pawn. Give her just enough lucidity to say something like, "He promised me Lamashu's blessing, but the voice, the dreams, they weren't hers, they were his, the red-winged devil." That lets her be a tragic pawn, while further cementing the Red Bishop as a deep manipulator and mythos-layered antagonist. Yes. Okay. Alright, so we'll do this. Put this up here. Okay, and then we're gonna do give me some in-world journal notes and research note handouts related to this new event. Alright. And are we still locked out? Or are we back in? Hey, we're back in. That's wonderful. That's just fucking great. Oh, it's you! You're making the weird noise. Hey. You need to be covered up with your blankie? There you go. Oh. There you go. Oh, so cute. Okay. Alright. Let's see. That works out pretty good. Now that we're back in, we can move some shit around. So let's go to Thistletop floor 1. We gotta move Suto over. Alright. So Suto would be here. They would have heard the noise. So they would have locked the door. Or not locked it, but they would have shoved the table in front of the door. Which I guess we could simulate with this table. Nope. Table. There we go. We got an overturned table. Yes, we do. Alright. So, table. I tell you what, that there Bailey Wiki. That's some good shit. Alright, so we got the table there. Locking it up. Cool. So does Rip come down A, or does he come down B? That's one question. We're also going to go down a floor to Thistletop D2. Alright. So we're gonna get Suto out of there. Even though he loved her very much. And we're gonna move her and her doggo over here. And we'll keep these doors unlocked. There we go. And I like this transmutation room quite a bit. I feel like... What is 8? 8's the communications room or some bullshit. Let me see. E8, communication room. This barren room contains an upraised dais, which is a marble throne. To either side stand statues of men clutching a book and a glaive. A ghostly figure seems to be seated in the throne. An image of the same man who appears as a statue seems to be addressing an audience as he moves his hands about. Fingers decorated with hooked rings, but the words issuing from his phantom mouth are difficult to make out. I like that a lot. It does set up the Rune Lords pretty well. However, I need a big enough room to have this final fight in, and that's what I need. Alright, so we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna get rid of the throne. We're gonna do statue. Like another statue. Let's see what we can do with it. Whoa. That winged serpent statue looks sick as hell. Oh my god. What is that? That's a disgusting statue. Oh, gross. That's really gross. Okay. We could certainly put that there instead. All right. Though I kind of want like an altar. Yeah. There we go. A colorable altar. Okay. So we could do that. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Okay. All right. I know it kind of like it's not really. I don't want to say it's shitting on the lore of all of this, but like, I mean, I guess it kind of is. I guess it kind of is. There could still be some significance of Karzug in here, kind of hint at Karzug, without him being like the MC, I guess. Let's see. Oh, that's not right. Okay. So vision enabled. Update. Okay. And you can't see through this, right? No. All right. So pile of coins. You got a vending machine your way through. All right. Love it. Okay. So she's really into like red skulls and shit. Full of fire. So we're gonna bring some of those in here. Let's see. Copy, paste. Oh yeah, that's some creepy ass lighting. All right, sweet. And then Malfeshkanor, he has to be hidden. All right. Nice. Now, are the doors to 10 locked? The doors to this room are made of stone but bear no handles. Ah, okay. So she's working to get those doors open. Alright, so we got Shayla's kid version. Alright, and then she will be restrained. And she will be stupefied. There we go. And she will be fatigued. Alright. And I guess prone. Alright. And on that altar. Nice. Okay. So the party comes in. She's got this room that we've changed to be like a ritual room or something like that. Okay. That works. So what we could do is we could move like the Karzug throne situation. And we could just make it like a tablet or like a disc that like sort of projects what's happening. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that. So we'll go here and what else? Okay. Move content of E8 into E3. There we go. No longer a throne, but a disc that projects the image of Karzug. Yeah, that works. Okay. That sets like a much better kind of finale situation. Yeah. Okay. I dig that shit. And then the Yathhound is nearby. She's doing her thing. I think they're just gonna whoop her ass, honestly. And then there'll be the issue with Malfeshkanor. Maybe with Nualia's death, the doors will open on their own. That's spicy. And then the PCs will have to decide what to do from there. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay. So let's head back upstairs and try to figure out where good old Rip Nugget's gonna come down. So, like Santa Claus, come down the fucking chimney. Alright. So, there's not a lot of goblins left. They kind of killed most of the goblins. He would be here. Would anybody hear the howls of those creatures from down below? And if they did, would they come running? I feel like the goblins would be scared shitless. But if the Yethhounds keep howling, they're definitely going to come down eventually. The closest stairs... Neither's very close. Like, he's got his nice bedroom here. And then he'd have to go all the way down here into that room and then that away. So that's one way he could go. Or he could go down and then also, yeah, it's always better for him to go down B. So that's how we'll do it. All right. So he will be here ready to come down and assist soonish. Not like right away, but soonish. So we'll see how badly the party splits up and what kind of bullshit they get up to. And then I don't think these guys have any cool phasing or teleporting abilities like the Yethhounds in Dungeons & Dragons, so they could just walk on air, essentially. Okay. That's not too bad. Alright. Then that is our situation. This guy half-hearted, doesn't want to be a part of it. This guy, ride or die Nualia, but he's tired from fucking goblins. These two holding the line. I don't think they have any way to communicate with their allies that shit's going down, though. Yeah, no. So it really just comes down to would Aurelium waste her action economy and risk coming down from the air to try and go warn Nualia, or would she kind of give away Nualia's position? Or would she try to fly around this way? So many doors in the way to try and get help. I don't know. She whooped the party's ass last time. I think she's going to be confident enough to try and whoop their ass again. But we'll find out when we run the game tonight. Alright, so that's an hour of prep, and Foundry, gave us a little bit of trouble, but we pivoted, and we still got a lot of good stuff done. I think we have mapped out the rest of Burnt Offerings 100%, and we have enough things that sort of tie it into 7 Dooms. So next week's prep will be working on the actual mechanics of bridging the 17-year gap. So we're going to build some custom backgrounds. We're gonna build some roll tables to see like what happened to them during the 17 years. We'll also have a better idea, I think, of who's going to keep their characters and who's going to play new characters that are kind of continuing the story. So that's what we're going to focus on next session. And then the prep session after that, it will be preparing to start running 7 Dooms for Sandpoint. We have some adjustments we have to make to a couple of the maps, but otherwise we are going to try to run it pretty close to the module. So it should be pretty interesting. We have not decided yet as a group if we're going to do Revenge of the Rune Lords or not. That will definitely be an important thing to know, because we would want to read that adventure and start seeding content from that adventure into Seven Dooms to better connect the two adventures together, even though it is made, I believe, as a direct sequel. So we'll have to see. All right. Hope everybody has a good night. I'll be back Thursday to do some prep for Skyhaven. There'll be no vodcast for the next couple weeks. Having surgery on Friday, so I'm going to be out for a bit. I should be back Monday to run Stolen Fate, Tuesday to run this game, and so on and so forth. Hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you next time.